Hello, hello. Welcome to Fempreneur True Confessions podcast. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I know the date and I always remember, so it's like, oh yeah, it's that day that I had to see the calendar
Yeah,
first to remember. Yeah.
we've been
And I don't
celebrating St.
none.
Patrick's
So
Day since
I've got
Friday.
green around. Yeah.
What?
Oh. I said I have green around me, but that's it.
Yeah, I'm not wearing any green today, but I also am here alone. So don't have to worry about anybody pinching me. At least not right now. As long as I stay in my room, I'm good. Uh,
I love
uh,
it.
So I am Angelique with Lady Powerhouse Solutions, and Lady Powerhouse Solutions is a product and event management agency. I have a team of people that help me support my people, my clients, and we work with women who are out there on fire and lighting up the world with their passion and drive, and we help them fulfill their mission in the most authentic way possible. And Laura and I do really similar things.
Yeah, we do, and we love it. That's the whole point and the whole premise for all of this was, yes, we are very similar in what we do. We think differently, so we run things a little bit differently, but we help each other and support each other, and we allow that growth and that openness. We work within each other's businesses as well. I knew where to go when I had a problem. So, and I was like, oh gosh, step in for me. So, there are things that every business owner needs, and we've been able to pull that together in so many resources and so many amazing women, and together we form such a great friendship. We talk every day. We've got our personal lives, we talk about all those things, and it became quite a friendship that was pretty amazing, being able to do similar things and not worrying about competing with each other or
Right, like you said, like knowing you've got somebody there that does something you do and understands in your business and your clients, so that if anything were to happen, this other person could actually step in and cover for you. What a
yeah,
concept!
right.
Yeah,
Like I had to give full trust and be like, I've got to have it, because things can fall apart. And they do a lot of times because people don't understand they have that or somewhere or maybe need to build that within. So
yeah,
that's we love what we do and we try to mimic that for everybody else as well.
and
It's,
yeah, and model it.
this, yeah,
Yeah,
there we go.
yeah. How collaboration versus competition is something that is a positive. It's helped both our businesses grow. It's helped both of us as individuals grow, personally, spiritually, professionally, and that's kind of why the podcast came to be. Was like, hey, we don't see this happening anywhere else. All we see is bright shiny objects and hit six figures in this amount of time, and we weren't seeing
Right.
the reality of this shit's hard. It can be.
Right.
Business can be, entrepreneurship can be challenging. And
Hmm.
then finding support to get through the challenges. Like, where are your cheerleaders? Right? And so that's what we're here to do. We're building a community that's all about growth and abundance mindset, not scarcity, and collaboration over competition. Pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we have
absolutely. Love.
fabulous guests every week who are like in alignment with us. Today is no exception. We've got a wonderful guest with us today.
Mhm. Absolutely. So Nancy White is with us today, and Nancy is the Healthy Sales Chick, a wellness advocate, author, and entrepreneur dedicated to empowering individuals in both health and financial well-being. With over 30 years of expertise in natural living and business growth, Nancy helps people achieve vitality at any age. She's the author of the GRT Journal and a featured contributor in multiple bestsellers. As the host of the Healthy Sales Chick on Win Win Women TV, she shares invaluable insights on holistic health, and she is passionate about proactive wellness, Nancy invites you to embrace a vibrant, thriving life. Hi, Nancy. Welcome.
No, thank you so much. It is such a pleasure and a joy to be able to be with you ladies. And I commend you for what you're doing and bringing, again, women together to support each other with that whole mindset that is collaboration and not competition.
Yeah, um, it's. I heard somebody say collaboration's the new capitalism, and I really liked that. I'm not really sure how that fleshes out definition wise, but I liked the way it sounded.
Yeah.
You know, and today,
Mhm.
our
Right.
podcast, we're talking about asking for help as a form of resilience. And this came out of a couple of the answers from the intake form that every one of our podcast guests fill out an intake form. We just kind of give a set of questions we ask, and one of the things that Nancy you mentioned was what was it? I'm trying to find the exact space or question. It was one of I think it was one of the early questions. Let's see. Now I can't find it. Where you talked about that asking for help. Like what I don't think it was the question. What's one piece of advice you would give yourself? But that kind of would fit the answer, and that is don't be afraid to ask for help or advice. And then I kind of weaved in the resilience because later on you do talk about resilience. But I kind of wanted to give you free reign today to kind of
Okay.
talk about, um, you know, I'm still trying to think. What did,
It might have been when I was doing an invention. There were several inventions
yes,
way back yonder.
yes, that's what it was.
Mhm. Yes, so I've learned and continually keep learning, but some things when we become entrepreneurs, whatever that meant, 40 years ago, um, and I was inventing and doing some things and just sort of doing it on my own also. And I think one of the things that was one of the things you might have been talking about was when I was doing a nationwide survey about one of my inventions that I had created, and I had hired an attorney and hired all these things that I thought I was supposed to be doing. And I had approached one of the manufacturers about, creating my invention and, and being able to promote it. Had high hopes and did the non-compete letters and all those things. And then they said no, they weren't interested. But then 2 years later, they came out with the exact invention that I had created. And I had found out later, pretty much too, that the attorney was probably working both sides. And being a solopreneur entrepreneur, you do not have the money and to be able to go after people to sue. So I think asking for some great help and getting more people involved, that was one lesson. And another one was my other inventions that, again, just striking out on my own and learning as I go. I invented these cute little shoes. They were called fan flops, and they had different colors on them to represent different sports teams and everything. But the big lesson I learned there was you don't order 3,000 pairs of shoes without a buyer. and so, and so then I had this big container come in. I was so excited and everything. And then, I started promoting through different colleges and different things like that. But I think I did it. I know I did it backwards. You're supposed to be able to have people, buyers set up. But it was a good life lesson also
Yep,
because
yep.
I worked that business, and then towards the end of it, I thought, I'm ready. I'm done. I'm done going to the warehouse. I'm done, doing the shipping, done doing everything. So I donated my leftover stock to two different orphanages. One went to Nicaragua, to a dump that 40,000 people lived in, and it was a great fit for them because the children's feet were so just crusted with dirt and everything. They couldn't wear like tennis shoes because their feet would get, infected. So my cute little fan flops went to that one orphanage and then to another in South Africa. And I could remember at nighttime just laying in bed going, oh, I can just see all those cute she's on all these little feet and these different places. So, but asking for help, I think, is huge, especially for women. I mean, there's lots of resources out there. There's SCORE, there's women's support groups, there's women in business, there's all kinds of things. A lot more now than there were, decades ago. But even today, as we got AI, we've got all these different things that are coming about. You know, we're lifelong learners. I mean, at 72,
Yeah.
you never want to stop learning, but you want to continually find these amazing resources like you ladies and what you're doing to serve others. And whether we use your resource or not, the best marketing tool there is to tell a woman. And so we're going to, to learn more about what you do so we can share with other people too. So
Yeah.
I
it's
love that. The best marketing tool is to tell a woman.
It's so true.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, and so, as far as the resilience goes, I'm just going to let you take that wherever you will. You are a walking resilience billboard.
Well, thank you so much. And I just, life happens to all of us. And I think one of my bigger challenging times was, oh my gosh, my son's 40 now, so this had to be over 30 years ago, over 30. And so their father and I were separated and going through a divorce. That's another whole story. There's talking about resilience. My first husband was killed instantly on a motorcycle accident and broke his neck, and then I remarried, and someone that I knew only 6 months met him at church, so should have been all right, but anyways, it wasn't. And so, but I got sued for custody of my children, and I mean, the sheriff came to that, and I'm saying I didn't even know about it, but I will tell you, you don't mess with a mom and her kids. That the wild wet chicken comes up. You're gonna fight.
Mama bear.
Mama bear comes up. And so, anyways, but that was a great resilience time for me to again find out, ask for help, get it in, and the whole picture turned right around into my favor. So that was, a time also. And we go through things with our children. My son decided he went to go visit his dad one summer for just a visit, and then I was informed that he was going to live with him. And that was another time that, you just go through, okay, Lord, you're going to have to help guide me through this whole situation. But I will tell you, we can do one day at a time, but we keep looking ahead and planning and doing those things. But I guess my biggest test and trial right now that I'm living in now has been the biggest one of my lifetime. And over 2 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, and I did not even know what it was. And so we left the hospital after 11 days, and it's just like you leave the hospital with a baby, and you don't have too much instructions. When you leave the hospital with this kind of situation, you're going, I am completely clueless. So I will talk about resilience, asking for help, and because my being in health and wellness, it's all preventative, proactive, doing those things that you can. And I think one of the hardest things I had to pill to swallow was this is not curable and it's not going to get better. And so, in fact, my daughter is my hero too, and she's my best friend. And she's a speech therapist at a children's cancer hospital. And when the diagnosis came, she goes, Mom, this really sucks. And because she knew a lot more than I did at the time, and we're believers. And I said, and I never asked the Lord to put this on my bucket list, and I never. And so, but it is that we do our best one day at a time, and He does the rest. But people keep going, oh, it just gets harder and harder. I go, well, thank you very much. And so,
Thank you for the reminder.
I know.
Some days are 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, right?
Yeah.
You hear one day at a time all the time, but
Mhm.
I've been through times where it's like I just have to get through the next minute.
Mhm.
That's all I got to do is focus on the next minute or the next hour because tomorrow's too big. Today's
Absolutely.
too big.
And I mean, and I really love people that, are really great. They say you just need to stop and do your deep breathing and stop. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I just need to keep breathing. It's
Right.
Right.
yeah, but
You're
but
not even deep yet.
yeah. So, anyways, but God never said this life was going to be easy. He just promised He'd never leave us. And so,
Mhm.
and I remind Him of that quite often. And I'll tell Him, I say, but could you move the boulder just a little bit because it's getting a little heavy. And so, but I will tell you, my network, meeting amazing ladies like yourself. I've been leading networking groups over 20 years, especially with women, and finding those incredible friendships, those people, you always hear people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Well, I'll tell you, your community of the people, women especially, that you've networked with and have started really growing those amazing relationships, they will show up. They will show up, they will help, they will offer suggestions. I have some great neighbors. I have some great different resources through our small group at church. But when you think that things you in your brain you keep going, I need to do this, I need to do this, and I'm sitting there going, just stop. Either you trust him or you don't. If he's gotten you this far, he's not going to just leave you. But I'm telling you, this computer up here, being in health and wellness, I know you have to keep rebooting, and
Yeah.
reformatting, and there's an update, and so
Oh, that's a good one. There's an update. Like every day, there's an update. And sometimes the updates are patches because the previous update screwed something up.
mhm,
Right.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's real life right there.
mhm,
Mhm.
Um, you mentioned your daughter and how she is kind of forget the words you used, but when we asked about resilience, you mentioned her.
mhm. And she is my biggest advocate and cheerleader, and she's also when all this started coming down the road, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to change my power of attorney. I need to change my executor. I need to change all these things that you just don't always think about the little details. But I'll tell you, she loved my mother so much because she helped raise her. I was a single mom for a season of my life. And so um, Alicia just really did not agree with how my younger brother um, was treating my mom during the last year of her life. And so she really had to get over that anger, that resentment, that all those things um, that she had to carry and harbor. And so it's been great because we can do things for each other. She's so funny. She'll go, I'm going to put on my mom hat and talk with you. I said, okay. And then she goes, I'm going to wear my daughter hat. And I'm sitting there going, and then just those are those types of people, and they don't have to be your daughter. It can be just that precious girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a friend whose husband just died a couple of weeks ago, and I've been staying in touch with her because I've had a lot of death in my lifetime, and just going through that whole process, I said you got to give yourself grace and space, and also you have to be able to bless and release a lot of things. I call it BNR, because women we love to carry things, emotions and stuff, and especially in our hips and thighs, and that's why I love holy yoga. We're a happy baby, but have to be able to release things. So yes, Alicia has been my best friend, my advocate, and we help each other. So it's not just all one-sided; it's mutually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how the yin yang, right? The balance
Mhm.
of life. There was a time that you were her mom, and it's not that roles have reversed. It's just that, is she a mom herself?
Not yet. I'm praying for it. They've been married 9 years, but she's had some lady challenges. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping for that cute. I call her. I want a brown hair, curly brown hair, brown eyed little girl.
Yeah.
I'm being
And
specific.
yes. Well, we have to be. We have to be. We have to be specific. If we're not, then then we can't complain about what we get, right? What gets served up. So 2 years ago, do you have like there's before the diagnosis and after,
Mhm.
right? And you mentioned too a lot about all the things that now are on your plate and all the plates you have in the air now versus before, and how the business has kind of taken um, the kind of bit pushed to the back burner a little bit, and how did you balance all of that? Because I know there are probably a lot of women out there facing one challenge or another,
Mhm.
that and the business, while it is what is supporting you,
Mhm.
is always seems to be the last thing on the list, and you're taking care of everybody and everything else, and then finally you get to the business, and then what's left for you? How
Mhm.
do you manage all that?
And I don't believe in balance because it means you're dead. I mean, you have to keep moving and prioritizing. And so, I mean, I love, planning. I love making, lists of things to do. And we're always, addressing the things that as the, that come due first. It's like, your taxes, it's like your, food, it's like all anything else. So we're prioritizing. And so we're always, reevaluating. And we really realize the things that do matter and that don't really matter. But sometimes if it really matters to you, I mean, I absolutely love going outside and cleaning, blowing, and, whatever, because it makes me feel good. And I appreciate having something cleaned off. It's good for my mental. But I think for women especially, um, delegating, asking for help, finding those times, those pockets where you have more um, time. So, especially if you're caregiving and you've got somebody coming in, the better times of the day than or night or whatever. Then those are the times that you work on your business. Those are the times that you still want to keep your fingers in your business and keep on doing some things. I agree. During this little season, I'm not doing as much as I was over 2 years ago, especially when it comes to networking and doing things. But I absolutely still love doing my weekly TV show. I love serving my clients and health and wellness. That's my number one passion because this season is going to come to an end. And if you don't stay in touch and keep active in building those relationships, then you've got to start again. We don't know how long the season's going to be.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for women to stay in touch, to, maybe not as much as they were before, but shoot, use texting, use things going, you know what? The Lord laid you on my heart today, and I just wanted to encourage you that, you have been an amazing person. You've got great gifts and talents. Keep it up. I have found for myself, when I love to do deeds of kindness for somebody else, whether it's making a pot of soup for a neighbor that's been traveling and they're just getting home, and they, whatever, any kind of deed of kindness that we can do for others is huge because you do it without ulterior motives, you do it without false intentions, and you do it because it's getting your mind off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There, I believe that that's true. That by doing acts of service for others, um, I think that we can overdo that. I spent a lot of years um, committing an inordinate amount of time to an organization, and then when it came time for me and I needed help and support, it wasn't there. And that didn't feel good. And it's not because we are doing the acts of kindness and we're banking. It's not about banking or keeping track or any of that. Um, but it was out of alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
it was out of alignment. And so I feel like that I just want to mention that while that is good, that's definitely a portion of what we need to do
Mhm.
for ourselves. I love doing pro bono work, absolutely love doing it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be a slippery slope into being taken advantage of.
Mhm.
So, you know, I do have to keep track of it so that I don't do that to myself, because a lot of times the things that I want to do pro bono work for are fun for me. I
Right.
really enjoy them, you know, and
Yeah.
so it's easy to spend that time on those things,
Mhm.
and lose track of the fact that you just did thousands of dollars worth of work, and
You got
now
zero for it.
right. And but not just that, but it took time away from the revenue generating stuff that's
Mhm.
supporting you and putting a roof over your head. So yeah, maybe we should, and part of it's, a little bit of, maybe a little ADD, but uh,
It's called those boundaries. They kept going. You need to put boundaries around things. Well, but when you put things down and you're planning and you're writing things down, what you're going to be spending your time, money, and energy on, you know, pick something that really you do love and
yeah.
enjoy, and just, you have to put a little boundary around it.
Yeah.
And if life happens and you have to change, oh well, you just have to be able to say, okay, I really wanted to do this at this time, but life has happened and I cannot
Hmm.
do it now. But you know what? Potentially in the future. And
Life has happened.
you remind me of so many people in the church. It's like 10% do like 90% of the work, and people
Mhm.
are always asking, asking, asking. And I learned a long time ago, no is a great answer, or thank you so much for asking me. I'm privileged, honored, and whatever. But let's see if we can find somebody else that can do that has better gifting time. Or you know what? I'm sorry, but at this particular time on my plate, until something comes off, my plate's full. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but you can say things in a kind way, or you can just say, "No, thank you, not right now."
Mhm.
Yep, and that's enough. No
Yeah.
is an answer. No is a good answer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's somewhere along the way, someone said everything you say yes to, that
You
means you
say
said
no
no to
to.
something else. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh wow, it's kind of like that. Um, the lady of justice or whatever. What is
Yeah.
that?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
The balance.
The scales. The
Yeah.
scales.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
it's just like that. Like, okay, my yes bucket is full, my no bucket's full. So if I say no, that means the yes bucket's going to be, I
Mhm.
have to take something out of yes to even it back out again. And that, for whatever reason, in my brain, it worked.
It does, because it's not that you don't want to do it, but when you look at the things that you do want to do and you need to do and what are good for you. I mean, like exercising, heaven forbid, you gotta move it or lose it. It's like, and because
Mhm.
they don't have time for this or don't have whatever. And I say, you know what? Schedule it on your calendar, because you schedule everything else too. And so,
Mhm.
but self-care is priority, especially in this season of my life, because
Mhm.
40% of caregivers die before the person they're caring for. And every morning when I wake up and I put my feet on the floor, go, yay, I'm back. I'm in the 60% club. It's like, but you have to be able to say, um, if I want to take that yes out of, like you're talking about, that bucket, is that really smart? Is that wise? And you just stop and have to do that little analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a yes or a no. That's like same times when something happens in life, and I'll share with the ladies. I'll say, you know what? Just stop for a moment. Say, is this something I have control over? That's a yes or a no. If it's a no and it's none of your business, you have to be able to let go of it. But if it's yes and it's something you get to do, but you're not equipped or you're not feel qualified or whatever, you need to have help. You need to ask for help. You need to ask somebody that you, again, know, like, and trust, but somebody that can come alongside, or the resources, just like
Mhm.
we're talking about. I've got hospice helping me right now. And so
Mhm.
we're finding out all about these new resources in women. Again, if it's none of your business,
I
and you
love that.
have
I
control
love that.
over it,
Like,
you
is
know.
it my
Yeah.
business?
Mhm. Yeah. Is this something I'm responsible for?
I need it. Yeah.
My, da- my
Do I
daughter,
have control over this? That is such a good question
I
to
know,
ask.
my daughter says, is that your monkey? I went, what do you mean, is that my monkey?
Yeah, is that your circus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
learned
All the
that from in corporate.
Mhm.
time. Yeah. We worked in a call center, so everything was everybody's business for so long. And when I was out of it and gone from that, it took a minute to adjust. Like, there is no drama. There is nothing to argue about or have to feel about for somebody else or anything. Like, it was all gone. And it was the craziest feeling because, you prayed for years, please take this away. But once it was gone, it was that moment of, oh, wait, 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 wait. And then I realized I am not a social person and I have been pushing it way too long.
You're
I
so cute, Laura. You're not such a person.
was like, this is too much. But you just give and you put into it. And yeah, I was like, I should have left corporate years before I did. And um, definitely hindsight, and I'm grateful though, that's the interesting part is that I am so truly grateful for that time there because I met amazing people. I got amazing skills, and it taught me how more to deal with challenges of being social when you're not social. you
Mm.
know, so yeah, definitely.
Well, you're a beautiful introvert, and you've got those gifts and talents that when you speak, people will listen because you just don't chatter all the time.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So how, at what point and how did you get back into nurturing your business after all of the, lifing on you?
Mhm. Well, I'm continuing to. It's like you see how the water, when the water hose goes, it just is on low and it keeps on dripping a little stream. Or then you turn the water on high and you can blast something. So it is. It's that same kind of mindset that I'm going to do when I can, and do the things. I still like having goals. I still like having things to do, and stuff, especially with, marketing or exposure or just reaching out and just, so you just have to realize that during this season, um, the hose has turned down, not like it used to be. But then I had a counselor. I love counselors, and I love all kinds of coaches and things. Again, lifelong learner. I had a coach, and she was talking to me. She goes, Nancy, I want you to close my eyes. I go, because I love when people say, close your eyes. I'm like, okay, I'm closed. I can't see a thing. It's like, and so, anyways, she said, I want you to think about a year from now. And she goes, and what comes to your mind? I said, freedom. And she goes, what does that look like? And I was just explaining that to her. And she goes, now I want you to put a song to that vision, that thought. I said, I've already got it. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. And so she goes, during the days, she goes, I want you to just, at least once a day, just stop for a moment and just sing that little song and think about that. So I know that when you're talking about, continuing to do your business, and again, you can ask or get some, I'm not going to be advertising for the Philippines, but if you can do a virtual assistant for $7 an hour or whatever to help keep things, active or whatever that looks like. So you can ask for help. You can also find incredible, maybe interns. You can be creative to find people that could help you with your business, and it may not cost you anything, or they just want the experience. I'm not talking about taking advantage like you were talking about. Um, but
No, no.
using those things to be able to find ways, again, to have that resources and those supports, to be able to help things stay active and well for, what you're doing. So
Mhm.
I think, being creative, and people get tired. I mean, I understand by the end of the day, after 12 hours, I'm going, I am done. I am done. So
Mhm.
but you have to be able to um, reach out and also ask others, just like you're talking about. Ask others that have been there and done it. I've got a dear friend whose husband passed away from Lewy body dementia, and just finding out some things that they did to survive, and also I have the audacity to think that I'm going to thrive. I'm going to survive and thrive. And so, because at the end of the day, what I love helping people to do is, in this country especially, longevity and health longevity are about a 10-year span. And I want health longevity and longevity to be just as close as it can be. And so I do know that, self-care, I know what it takes for me to stay healthy and strong and well. And then when I need to have some help, respite, or whatever it is, I'm sure as heck going to ask for it.
What, and that brings up a couple of questions for me. So, what is healthcare, self-love, self-care? What is that? Because it's different for everybody, and I love getting ideas from other people. So, what does that look like for you?
For me, my foundations are having my quiet time, meditation time. I journal in the morning and I journal at night. You don't have to sit there and journal for 30 minutes or an hour. But I start the day with gratitudes. I end the day with gratitudes, and all throughout the day, I have to stop and just do thank you. I'm grateful and thankful, and I have to look at the little things to be grateful for. I think having that heart attitude is huge. I think the renewing of your mind is continually every day. So renewing and refreshing my mind, my body, and I love I've been using Isogenics nutrition for over 18 years. I call it my jet fuel because I can definitely tell a difference with and without. And also my doctor says, you're the healthiest 72-year-old I know. I said, well, great. I'm going to be the healthiest 100-year-old you know. But anyway, but then I know exercise is huge. And I was talking to a doctor, and they were talking about how even exercise is even the most important over nutrition, because stress is associated with the 6 top killers in this country. And I do know that you either manage it or it manages you. And I never knew how much emotional stress would take a toll on your body in this past couple of years. That's why I have learned ways to be able to sleep, ways to be able to combat. And I believe we're living in a combative zone. We're being bombarded, our minds, our bodies, and our spirits every single day. So we have to learn those ways to fight back. And I'm a fighter because I was raised with 3 brothers. And I used to tell them, you're not the boss of me. But anyways, but I think your self-care is huge. And you have to decide what that is. And guess what? We get to tweak it as we age. I got to work out with Arnold Schwarzenegger 50 years ago. I'm not a gym rat like I used to be, but I do know the importance of doing resistance and some cardio and some things. And, I'm not going to be doing a marathon, but I'm going to keep doing the things I know so I can get on the floor and play with my beautiful 3-year-old granddaughter, who I hope to see soon, and get back up all by myself. Those are the things we want to do, is keep tweaking that self-care, keep tweaking those things, and just keep being preventative and proactive as much as possible. And life happens. I had to have rotator cuff surgery 6 months ago because I tore my rotator cuff. My husband has a lot of falls. And so I am telling you that it's one of the hardest things. And he has a lot of more falls now. And he reaches up and goes, help me. And I'm going, I can't do it. You're 220 pounds. I can't do it. And I can't rip my shoulder up again. So, we have to do those things that we know are good for us.
Yeah, and protect ourselves. That's a good point. The other question was, I heard a podcast the other day, and they were talking about longevity. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned longevity a second ago, and how that is defined. And I think, and that's another definition that can really vary based on context. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was really interesting. Longevity, and I agree wholeheartedly. She said, really, it comes down to quality of life. Mm-hmm. Not how, you could live to be 100, but if the last 20 years of your life you're bedridden, mm-hmm. is that really longevity? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. It's about quality of life. And so what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. And that's why I was saying, your health longevity along with your longevity. Longevity is the years. And so, again, when we can do our very best to keep that health longevity, you know, continually built up, and it's not a once and done. I mean, I've stayed 6 sizes down for 18 years, but I still have to work at it. And it's not going to be something. So your health is the same way. And yes, people go through cancer, people go through challenges. But when we learn different ways again to combat it, our body completely regenerates every 6 to 8 years. So you might as well make a new, good, healthy body, thus the healthy cells chip, and it's CELLS. So we're working at doing those things, and there's so many different ways that people are discovering what's good for them. Just because I do some things for myself doesn't mean it's good for you and for Laura. It's just, again, you find out the things that work good for you and keep on doing maintenance. I mean, it's just like your house. I mean, you're still cleaning the air filter, you're still painting when it needs, when something happens. It's the same with our temporary temples until we get our permanent maintenance free one.
Yes, yes, I love that because it is our body is our earthly temple. It really is. All right, so we're getting close to the top of the hour, bottom of the hour, whatever it is. And so you have a couple of offers for our audience. You've got a free stress quiz, health quiz at thehealthycellschick.com. That's CELLS, like you said, healthycellschick.com. And then you're also offering a complimentary 30-minute consult. And we'll drop the link for that as well. Anything else you want to say about those?
I really think it's really important, and I love talking with people to discover the good things that they're doing for their healthy lifestyle and celebrate that, because so many people are always looking at what's lacking, what is it that they need. And I'm sitting there and I love to talk with people about the things that they're doing that are positive and good and cheer them on to keep on doing those things, and then find out from them what areas of their healthy lifestyle they want to enhance or to tweak or whatever. Because just because I think somebody needs something, believe me, I know that especially women know themselves better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And so, but I love having just those short conversations with people to, again, cheer them on, celebrate the things, and then discover anything that they may need to have enhanced. And I will probably have a resource or something to be able to share with them that they can do with that. And it's, we Google so many things, we do so many things, but it's really nice every once in a while to talk to a real person. And so I like being a real person. And so that's something that I think is really important to do. And again, we're here for a season, and what we sow into others is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And so one of the things we like to do on the podcast is have the current guest introduce next week's guest. We feel like this really supports our goal of collaboration over competition and abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. So next week's guest is Andrea Mason. And Nancy, take it away.
Oh my gosh. Andrea Mason is a globally certified motivational speaker, coach, and alumni of the legendary Les Brown. Boy, have I met him several times in person. Bringing over 2 decades of experience in mental health, social work, and psychology. As a founder of Press Play Plan Life According to You, LLC, smart woman, she employs individuals worldwide with an accountability coach and solution specialist strategist. A Columbia adoptee, Andrea is passionate about making a global impact, virtually connecting with children in orphanages across the world. She is the host of Unleashing the Champion Within podcast on Spotify and the founder of Bringing the World Together, a virtual platform uniting international dignitaries and community leaders to showcase transformative initiatives. Andrea is an Amazon #1 best-selling international author and a featured speaker in Global Magazine and at events like NYC's Latino World Travel Fest 2023. Her book, Victim to Victorious, launched by Les Brown and Lauren Hudson, embodied her mission to help others break barriers, heal, and thrive. As a global ambassador for initiatives that enhance emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, Andrea is dedicated to strengthening communities uplifting individuals to live a balanced, prosperous life. Prepare to be inspired by her incredible journey and transformative insights. Don't you love that we've got someone like Andrea that is coming alongside and collaborating to really make a difference in the world?
Yeah.
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 And I love the way our guests just kind of they line up so well. And I think that Andrea's a great follow-up for you as well for next week. And then our announcement this week is we are super excited to be launching our membership, the Fempire Collaborative Network. It's a free membership for our listeners. We will have paid levels for guests and for and other levels. We haven't really fleshed it all out yet. We're just super excited about the free part
Right.
and creating the community for our audience to get together and collaborate and network with each other and support each other. So go out to ftcpodcast.com and get on the wait list for that. We will be looking for beta testers. So that's our announcement this week. We will see you guys next week, Monday, 12 Eastern, with Andrea Mason and Nancy. Thank you so much for being with us today and spending this valuable time with us and sharing your story. Really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for what you both are doing.
Awesome. All right, guys.